guess just to start off with, writing together and being husband and wife, how does that work without you both killing one another? How does that?
Excellent question.
Well, I cook for her.
Oh, that.
And
Oh, yeah,
so
that's very
that
important.
I can always steer her attention away from the argument by saying, "Well, what do you want for dinner tonight?"
What do you cook for her?
You name it. You name
Oh my God,
it.
are you like
He's
very
really
professional?
good. No, he's a
or
really good cook, and that
Well, I
does
make
help.
everything I make eventually turns into a burrito, but it starts out with good intentions.
Do you ever have disagreements writing?
We
or
do,
anything
of
like
Oh
course,
that?
yeah,
of course.
oh yeah, and we have a system that works really well for
Yeah,
us because
sure.
we decide at the beginning who owns this project. In essence, who has the veto over the other person? Because sometimes writers cannot agree, and they can say we disagree, but then ultimately there has to be a
but these
decision.
are from his books, so when it's his book, he gets to decide.
What were the big disagreements on this movie?
You know, it isn't so much that it really comes down to that when you're adapting a book, things have to go.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, but we need that. Oh, but it would be, and it's like, yes, no, it's great in the book. It's great, but it has to go. Something has to go. So that it tends to come down to that.
What do you cut out? How do you figure out what can go in a novel?
Cut out all the helicopter crashes, machine gun fires,
There was so much of that.
superheroes flying around in capes, all that we cut, and it's amazing.
You know, it's about distilling it down to its essence. So, you know, there might be sort of repeated beats. I know I make mistakes in my life and then I make the same mistake again. That happens in a book. You don't really get to do that in a movie as much. You have to move forward.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Having done the process for the first film, do you learn from that, or do you?
I hope so.
Yeah, although we wrote together a lot before we got anything made, and so we had gotten into a really good rhythm. But it's absolutely true that there's a complete difference between writing a studio movie and then seeing it shot, as opposed to writing a studio movie that they don't make. It's completely different.
And, you know, on the set, we'll, you know, pitch things or whatever. I mean, it's a group process.
Oh, how does the movie change on set in the moment? How does
You know,
that happen?
if the actors feel like they need an adjustment or that something doesn't taste right in their mouth, you
Sure.
know, like that's how it should be.
Yeah.
How does knowing the PG rating affect your sort of writing process? Are there things that are too dark? Or?
You know, if you read A Dog's Purpose, you read A Dog's Journey, you realize that when I write a book, I'm not putting a lot of really adult themes in there. There's certainly not adult scenes, especially when it's told from the standpoint of a dog who probably could watch something we'd consider to be carnal and not know what's going on. So the way it's described in the book is very innocuous, and that's by
It's a
intent.
childlike voice, the voice
Yeah.
of a dog.
Yeah, well, I mean, the movie does deal with reincarnation, which is not something that is typically sort of discussed in sort of America. How did you sort of guys settle on that? How did that come about?
That's all Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell her a story to convince her to get another dog. She had told me she didn't want one. So I was like, no, we got to get another dog. So I told her a story that convinced her that her dog who died was out there looking for her in the form of pure love if she just knew where to find
But
it.
if you think about it, we don't know, and there's no way for us to know. Tucker could be reincarnated. He could have been my old dog. We don't know. He can't tell me. So you know, it could be true.
I mean, there are serious themes in this movie. I mean, it deals with mortality and that sort of stuff. Like, what do you hope that family sort of get out of it?
Well, I think that one of the greatest things about A Dog's Purpose, A Dog's Journey, is that the dog is seeing everything through its own innocent, loving eyes. Therefore, none of these deep, traumatic things that happen to people really affect a dog that much. The dog rolls with the punches. Dogs are so good at accepting whatever's going on.